guys, welcome to my channel. If there is an art form that I love the most, it is hands down writing. In a previous video, I mentioned that it's been in recent years where I've come to realize the sort of artistry within me, this artistic birth or rebirth just sort of like came out of nowhere, you know. It was definitely initiated by me moving to a new city, Cape Town, going to university and just being surrounded by and meeting different types of people on campus where I lived, literally on the vibrant streets of Cape Town, and sort of just exploring my independence and freedom in a way that I'd never before. And in that video as well, I also mentioned how I had a very myopic idea of what it meant to be creative, you know. Like in my mind, I had this like fixed idea of like, if you're creative, it means you can paint like Picasso and draw and stuff like that. And because I'd never invested in those particular hobbies or skills, I just kind of thought that I wasn't creative, or I thought that people who didn't do that weren't creative. And yeah, I was not an art major going into university, still not, but I was not an art major or anything like that. And aside from taking drama in high school, I would have literally sworn on my precious dog's life that I was anything but creative. And so it sort of just like smacked me in the face, where in my first and second year of university, I was like bombarded with this very strong idea to be more than what I am, you know, to express myself in ways that I hadn't before. And honestly, just having this like urge to create. And if you are an artistic or a creative person, I'm sure you can relate to just having these sort of feelings bubbling up inside of you, you know, having this like pull towards creating, exploring ideas, expressing your thoughts, expanding your mind and emotions in a way that is very unique, but also very like tangible. And by means of a lot of reflection, I mean, this was its own self-discovery journey, I sort of like woke up to the idea that, you know, writing was a skill, hobby, passion, a creative endeavor that had followed me since my childhood. It was something that I did every single day, multiple times a day, without even realizing that I was engaging in something creative already, or that I was, you know, flexing my creative muscle. I realized then that writing has and continues to be the thing that brings me closer towards myself and my creative abilities. And so today in this video, I am going to preach from the highest of rooftops. I am going to convince you of the power of writing, the pursuit of writing, and how as a simple hobby, skill, self-development tool, why it is such a worthwhile and rich pursuit. I'm going to be giving you all the juicy reasons as to why you should write, and they'll be backed by science and psychology, but we always go a level deeper on this channel. So I'm going to touch on and share some philosophical ideas and reasons behind the power of writing as well. So if you are interested in that, and that sparks your fancy, that piques your interest, stay tuned, and yeah, let's get into it. Now, maybe a little bit of a disclaimer, I'm not claiming to be the best writer that has ever lived, not yet anyway. And this, again, to sort of clarify, this video is not necessarily me giving tips on how to write like the best book or essay ever. I'm simply advocating for the power that lies within the art of writing itself, any writing. But if you must know, aside from scribbling chicken scratch in my journals every morning, I feel like I do have somewhat of a soapbox to stand on. I do have somewhat of a writing rep under my belt that I've given to myself. First things first, I have what I consider to be a collection of journals. I mean, if you know me, you know, like I literally decorate my room with my journals and stuff like that. The oldest journal that I think I have is from when I was 10 years old, gifted to me by my sister Naki. And in these journals, I mean, I write every single day, from a simple to-do list to my dreams. I've had dream journals before. I write in these journals obscure short stories sometimes. Sometimes I just write like my daily entries, gratitude journaling, reflections, my magical manifestations. So yeah, I engage with writing a lot in the form of these journals. Secondly, I did get a distinction for English in high school, and alongside drama and history, these subjects sort of kept my passion for literature, reading, performing, and of course writing alive throughout high school. I mean, you're constantly writing essays and reading a lot of text and expanding your vocabulary. So I created a lot of my honing in on my writing skill to those subjects. Another thing is I believe that reading and writing go hand in hand, and thanks to my mother, I don't know, I just remember coming out the womb with like a book or a novel or whatever. I've been an avid reader for my entire life. I honest to God can't remember a year where I wasn't invested in somewhat of a book. So I feel like that's another thing that sort of has kept my passion and my interest for writing alive, is just reading a bunch. And also, side notes, let me know in the comment section below if you guys would be down for a book club series. I have just been thinking about the idea that I read a lot, and it would be super fun to sort of share that with you guys as well. I know my nerd side is coming out a lot right now. Anyway, more professionally, I am also a humanities student at UCT, and what that means is that we are given an essay to write almost every week or every other week. You know, you write and you read a lot. So again, I feel like that's a way where I engage with my writing skill more professionally, in a more structured way. And lastly, more recently, my creative pursuits of this channel has made me engage with writing a lot more. I mean, I didn't even realize that I would be writing as much, but you know, writing in the form of scripts or brainstorming ideas, you know. Yeah, I really do engage with writing a lot when creating videos for you guys, you know, in order to be able to articulate my ideas more eloquently. So that's my resume, my writing resume for now. But all that to say that I do know a thing or two about writing and how impactful, transformative, and important of a pursuit it can be for you and your life. So yeah. First things first, the science behind writing. This will scratch the itch for my science-minded folks. Okay, we're gonna get very sciencey right now, okay? You may mistake me for Andrew Huberman, is all I'm saying right now. You know that is, literally comment down below. One Google search will reveal to you that there are actually a lot of scientific benefits to writing, aside from, you know, like improved cognitive functioning, which is obviously very important, memory, improving your problem-solving abilities, there are studies which indicate that writing can be a very useful tool for emotional regulation, improving and working through your mental health, and even something as serious and severe as like PTSD, you know. I am currently in therapy right now, so I can definitely speak to this whole idea of writing and journaling helping with your emotions, your mental health, and recovering from, you know, traumatic situations. I mean, I have been working through a lot of trauma and emotional turmoils, and yeah, just things that have plagued me in the past by means of writing and using journal prompts to explore ideas and different perspectives. I mean, today I have found myself in times of distress turning towards my journals, you know, and finding a sense of release and relief and solace in having an outlet and a tool to express myself in a very non-judgmental way. Moreover, writing is said to activate a complex set of network regions in the brain that are responsible and are involved in language processing, motor skill functioning, your emotions, your memory, and your creativity. And more specifically, and I was so gagged to learn this, but more specifically, there are over 9 parts of your brain that literally get activated when you are writing. And first of all, are you not gagged? Are you literally not gagged? I was like, what? Like, at the same time, it can literally be happening at the same time. 9 parts of your brain literally get activated when you are engaging in writing. I personally found all of this very, very interesting, and I thought it'd be interesting to share as well, because yeah, I feel like writing has become sort of a lost art, or let me say overlooked art. I mean, due to the advent of like social media and the lack of like physically needing to write things down, you know, we can just sort of like ChatGPT everything and automate everything. But I think we also remember the power that lies within the act of writing itself, and how engaging it is, how healthy it is for, like, if anything, literally just like our brain, whether it's for problem solving or storytelling or emotional expression. Writing allows us to synchronize different parts of our brain regions, and I think that's very profound, and I think it therefore can contribute to obviously the physical health of your brain, but also your personal growth and improving your mental health and your overall cognitive function. So I think remembering the science behind writing and truly what happens behind the scenes can be very insightful, motivating, and an empowering thing to realize. Now for my philosophical girlies. So I could have ended the video there. I feel like just learning about the science is quite substantial and enlightening, but I felt the need to explore and share the philosophy behind the art of writing. I think a reason as to why I began this video with the science behind writing itself is to sort of introduce you and convince you of the notion that there is more to writing than just the physical act of writing, and that writing in and of itself is profound. So in my first year of university, I never knew I would share a lot about my academic journey in this video, but nonetheless, in my first year, before switching my majors to psychology and social work, which is what I'm studying now, I was actually studying philosophy and politics. And I love philosophy. It's so hard to study, it's so difficult to study, but it's very interesting. If you're into all of these thoughty, wordy thingies, it's very interesting. But I was super surprised to learn that there was a philosophy behind anything and everything, you know, even more so to learn that there was a philosophy behind language and writing. Philosophically, writing truly is a transformative process that allows one to define, examine, and even construct reality itself. I know I'm sounding a bit, see, we just went from Andrew Huberman, now we're going to Jordan Peterson. Like, in essence, the philosophy behind writing is the idea that writing is more than the act of recording words down on a piece of paper, but rather that writing is a profound engagement of the self, society, and the mysteries of existence. So with that being said, we're going to start by seeing writing as a concept of discipline. Pursuing any form of art, but more specifically pursuing writing as an art form where you sit down every day and write requires dedication, patience, and a lot of persistence, and obviously discipline. So the discipline of writing, showing up every single day to put words on the page, even when you don't feel like it or you don't see the point, that teaches you a lot of discipline. It teaches you resilience and helps you develop a very strong work ethic. And over time, these skills will become assets in multiple areas of your life. And you learn to overcome and work through feelings of resistance, doubt, creative blocks, and ultimately the lack of discipline. So I think sort of seeing writing as a tool that you can use to develop your discipline or other sort of like skills in your life is something very interesting and very important and insightful. Another example is viewing writing as an act of freedom and empowerment. The thumbnail or the title of this video, whichever one it will be, is inspired by Steve Biko, who was a South African activist during the apartheid era, who wrote a book on Black consciousness titled I Write What I Like. I love that title so much. It's such a good title. And so for someone like him, writing was a tool for him to question the authority and challenge established structures like the oppressive apartheid regime. And it was a medium for him to assert his autonomy and express his freedom and his voice in a time where Black people were told or convinced that they had no voice or freedom. So in societies where freedom is restricted, writing for a lot of people can become a sort of like subversive tool for change, allowing oppressed individuals to empower themselves and to even advocate for justice. Another philosophical idea is that writing can be deeply intertwined with one's own self-discovery journey. I mean, there have been moments where I have found myself or discovered parts of myself in the ideas and thoughts that I have expressed or written down on a page. And when this happens, it's almost as if you are witnessing your subconscious self being activated through the act of writing. Many great thinkers, existential thinkers like Jean-Paul Sartre, viewed writing as a way of defining oneself and one's place in the world. Sartre believed that writing could serve as a medium for self-discovery, allowing us to confront our inner selves and wrestle with our beliefs, values, and identity even. And I feel like writing can be a very deep process if you decide to go deep with it, by means of like reflective journaling or creative writing, or just, I don't know, even just like, I don't know if you can relate to to this, but if you've ever written an essay or you've brainstormed, even if you like do a brain dump, you know, like a mind map where you just like write whatever, or you do your morning pages, I don't know, but I find that you always end up writing more than you anticipated, or yeah, you just like write words that you didn't even know were like in your mind. And to me, that speaks to how writing can sort of like provoke your subconscious mind, and make you discover more about yourself. And so when you write, it truly does reveal insights about oneself that may not surface otherwise, you know, and this allows for self-reflection and the articulation of one's experiences, beliefs, and emotions. And you end up building a very strong sense of self-awareness. And I feel like you learn the ability to be able to articulate your worldview with a lot of like authenticity and depth. And yeah, I mean, this just like fuels and revs up your journey of self-expression, self-identification, and ultimately your self-discovery journey. Last one is seeing writing as the pursuit of knowledge and a means to find meaning in the world. Basically all philosophers, but thinkers like Aristotle and Plato, you know, viewed writing as not just a way of like preserving knowledge and advancing wisdom across like generations through the written word, but they also discussed everything from ethics to metaphysics to the very like nature of existence. And we discussed, you know, before that like discovering yourself and all of that stuff, like I feel like that's very deep knowledge, and it's very important knowledge, you know, discovering things about yourself and the way your mind works. But again, just like on the surface, you can simply gain knowledge on the different perspectives, genres, styles of writing, you know, whether you're writing poetry or storytelling or novels or essays or script writing, whatever it is, like each form of writing can provide you with substantial knowledge on the art of language, communication, storytelling. It can provide you knowledge on like specific ideas that you've never known before, and ways in which you can also like share this insight. Seeing writing as a means to find meaning in the world, or using it to like search for meaning, I see it as the perfect medium to sort of like contemplate and grapple with deep ideas and issues and stuff like that. Existential ideas such as the nature of existence, morality, mortality, and like everything in between. Again, for my existentialists out there, and maybe even my absurdists out there, writing like as an act can also be like an existential practice, you know. It can be a way of creating purpose and structure in a chaotic world, or in a world that doesn't really make sense a lot of the time. And an example of this would be Viktor Frankl, who wrote about his experience of being a prisoner during the Second World War in the Nazi concentration camps in Auschwitz. And he titled the book Man's Search for Meaning. And in that book, he speaks about how, obviously he talks about his experience in the concentration camps, but how meaning essentially can be found in the most obscure and unusual places sometimes. And I mean, I've experienced this notion of turning my writing into an existential practice of like finding meaning and creating a sense of purpose for myself, you know, daily, literally every single day when I write. And it is also, again, the same medium I use to sort of like question all of these existential things. So, wow. I mean, the possibilities are endless when it comes to writing. Truly, the possibilities are endless. Like from literally the unique permanence of it all, like how it just like seemingly, you write one word on a piece of paper and if it's archived it can just like last forever, to the way it activates and expands our minds, to the way in which it is so easy to access these parts of ourselves with literally just a pen and a piece of paper. I think that's so profound, and I love that. I love that. Guys, I could literally go on forever about this topic, about writing, about art, about philosophy, about science, all of these things, but I think I'm gonna end this video here. To conclude this video, writing is an art form I am passionate about and love the most. Honestly, my wish is that I've left you feeling inspired to consider writing if you haven't, to write, to like finally start writing if you were consider writing, and to write more if you already are writing. And even, you know, even if it's for yourself, for a loved one, maybe I've inspired you to write for the whole world. Whatever it may be, write what you like, and most importantly, keep stoking those flames of creativity and passion within you, because I think that's very, very important. Art is dying. True art is dying. Artists are dying. I love you dearly. Thank you to all the old and the new subscribers. Like if you like this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Mwah.